Welcome to Football Game Plan's Power Rankings. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. And wow, I can't believe it's already week 4 in college football and we're entering week 3 in the NFL. And we do have a lot to get into. I know I say that for every intro, but yes, we do have a lot to get into on this particular episode. The NFL, again, just finished up week 2. We're going into week 3, yet there are still some teams whose situations may be dire, some more than most, and we'll rank them right now, starting with number 5. The Giants' run game without Saquon Barkley would have been higher on this list, and while it's still pretty dire because he's a legit game breaker, the signing of Devonta Freeman, the free agent running back, does help lessen the blow just a little bit. Now, the Panthers really have to figure things out defensively. I get that they are young, but they are not able to get off the field in key moments of a football game, and you see a ton of mental mistakes, which is expected because of the youth. You just hope that by the 4th or 5th game of the season, those will be a thing of the past. Looking at Tom Brady and Drew Brees' passes traveling deep downfield, die in midair, not having the same amount of gas on them is a bit troubling, more so in the Saints' case, as dating back to the NFC Championship game against the Rams, Brees' arm strength has limited the Saints' aerial attack and how they can stretch a defense vertically down the field. Brady had this one throw in the Panthers game last week to Justin Watson that ran out of juice in the air to where Watson had to stop in his tracks and haul it in. At the end of the day, these dudes are well into their 40s, so we shouldn't be surprised by anything from an arm strength perspective because, again, age does happen. Let's hope that it doesn't become a severe liability moving forward. Now, the Jets' offense flat out looks putrid. They have to be better moving forward on that side of the ball. It's a combination of a lack of a run game, inconsistent passing with a skittish quarterback, and just an overall lack of execution. The red sirens will definitely start to get louder if this continues. With the amount of significant injuries suffered both in training camp and last week at MetLife Stadium, the San Francisco 49ers' entire season is in dire straits. They lost their star defensive end Nick Bosa and Solomon Thomas for the year with ACL injuries. Raheem Mostert, their star tailback, will miss time with the knee sprain, and their starting quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo has a high ankle sprain and may miss some time as well. Now, they're already without future Hall of Fame corner Richard Sherman and offensive playmakers in wide receiver Deebo Samuel and tight end George Kittle. This is the most dire situation in the NFL. Now it's time to get into our NFL power rankings for week 3, and we'll start, as always, with number 32. We just spoke about the Jets and how dire their situation is earlier in this video, and that's just evident to why they are 32nd on this list. Defense, I think, can be competitive, but they have to find ways to get help from their offense. So maybe the defense will have to find ways to score the ball because right now their offense can't do it. I have the Detroit Lions at number 31, the first loss of the season. I gave them a mulligan, but this past loss versus Green Bay, they get a big fat yikes from me for what they did out there on the field. And I feel like the Miami Dolphins are getting closer and closer to playing and eventually starting rookie quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, as their offense just doesn't look good or threatening at this early juncture of the season. Cincinnati made some things very interesting against the Browns last week. They've been competitive so far this season, and if they can figure out how to stop the run, they'll notch their first win of the year. The Vikings paid Kirk Cousins all that money, and all he's done so far in Minnesota is play inconsistent ball. Yes, they are playing a lot of young players and have suffered some key injuries, but I thought folks said the good quarterback's supposed to make everyone around them better. The Panthers will be without the services of Christian McCaffrey for an extended period of time, which will now put a lot of the pressure on the rest of the offense to, number 1, stay diverse and efficient, and number 2, protect the football better. Turnovers cost them the game last week versus Tampa Bay, more so than their defense, in my opinion. The Giants have been competitive as well, and we'll learn a lot about Daniel Jones as the Giants will look toward the second-year player to carry the load in the absence of Saquon Barkley. The short, quick passing game could help him thrive. What can you say about the Atlanta Falcons? They lost in the most Atlanta Falcons way possible against the Dallas Cowboys, but the positives from that game is that the defense was able to force some turnovers and the offense found the deep ball. Let's just hope that's part of what last week continues on the rest of the way. It's shocking that Philly is 0-2 right now in the season, and they have to quickly get things turned around. Otherwise, the finger pointing and second guessing will start to arise in the city of brotherly love. Washington's defensive line is strong. The back seven still has some question marks, in my opinion. And on offense, they need to quickly find an identity and stick with it, because whatever they call themselves doing currently just won't get it done on a consistent basis. The 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan should be able to navigate through this rough stretch of injuries and help keep his team competitive. At some point, a good bit of their players will return to the lineup and they'll be able to find some victories. The Broncos suffered a key injury of their own against the Steelers as they lost their starting quarterback Drew Lock for a few weeks with a shoulder strain, and star wide receiver Courtland Sutton, he was lost for the year with an ACL tear. We'll see if backup quarterback Jeff Driscoll or the newly signed Blake Bortles can help keep that ship afloat out there in Denver. Be sure to order your copy of the Go-Go Offense by Coach Brennan Marion on footballgameplan.com/GoGoOffense. Coach Marion goes through the ins and outs of his explosive offense, one that's tearing up the college football field and putting a lot of points on the scoreboard. Again, you can order your copy at footballgameplan.com/GoGoOffense. The Cleveland Browns found the right formula for success against the Cincinnati Bengals, and that's running the football with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and letting Baker Mayfield operate off play action. If that's the plan moving forward, then the Browns will enjoy many more days like they did on Thursday night. The Houston Texans haven't looked good in their 2 losses this season. They have to get back to their consistent playmaking ways on offense, and the defense has to get back to being defensive. Both have been lacking so far this year. Jacksonville could have been 2-0 after a narrow loss to the Tennessee Titans last week. We've seen so far this year that this team will not be a pushover. Shout out to Chargers head coach Anthony Lynn and quarterback coach Pep Hamilton for getting their young rookie quarterback Justin Herbert ready to play, as his number was called just about 5 minutes before kickoff in an exciting game against the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll see if he sticks in the lineup this week against Carolina. Now, the Bears are 2-0 on the season. They've done exactly what you're supposed to do. Take care of the teams that you are better than. We'll see if they can step up in weight class this week as they take on the explosive Atlanta Falcons. The Indianapolis Colts were able to shake off the Week 1 loss to the Jaguars by dominating the Minnesota Vikings. It was a good day for rookie running back Jonathan Taylor, but a bad one for second-year wideout Paris Campbell and third-year safety Malik Hooker, as both were lost for the season with injuries. Great day for Leonard Fournette, who went over 100 yards for the Bucs in a victory against the Panthers. Both he and Ronald Jones are running hard, and their defense is making plays. That's a good formula for success on game day. The Cowboys notched an amazing comeback victory against the Atlanta Falcons. Let's just hope that this was a shock the team needed to get them to refocus the rest of the way. It was shocking to see the Saints defense get pushed around by the Raiders like that on Monday Night Football. Between that and Brees' lack of arm strength to challenge deep down the field, the Saints leave Sin City with more questions than answers. We saw the Las Vegas Raiders take care of business against the Carolina Panthers in a back-and-forth game, and we saw them find some resolve, come back against the New Orleans Saints, and dominate the game the rest of the way. So maybe this is a young football team that's finally starting to learn how to win consistently.
Well, the game of football has taught me so many things, man. Now, think about the huddle we have right now, right? I tell people this all the time. There's a reason why they call it a huddle. You know, people have been huddling all their lives, trying to find ways to enhance each other's lives. The great teams do that all the time. The great teams do that. The better the huddle, the better the team. And so it's simple, man, how if you huddle for all the right reasons, we wouldn't have Ferguson. We wouldn't have some of the challenges that we have in our society. But as we all know, there's always a moment when somebody doesn't belong in the huddle. And yet we have to continue to move on. We got to continue to play. So the game of life, man, is always starting with the huddle. And for me, I'm lucky enough to know that, you know, by the graces of God, man, it's been a nice huddle. It's been a nice huddle. And if I just keep making sure that he's in front of me, I'm gonna be all right.
The Patriots really could have won that game against Seattle as it came down to the last play of the game. Now, this is still a very good football team and one who will challenge for the AFC East crown when it's all said and done. Don't look now, but the Steelers are 2-0 on the season. They're playing good football and their offense gets better each and every week. That's a positive sign for this football team moving forward if they want to be a factor in the AFC. You also look at the Tennessee Titans. They're quietly 2-0 on the season, and I love the way they came back. I like what I saw last week from Ryan Tannehill, showing some toughness in the pocket. Had a crucial touchdown toss where he took a shot in the chops and really delivered an accurate pass deep down the field. The Rams offense looks like a well-oiled machine. They look like to be in midseason form, and they look to be virtually unstoppable on that side of the ball. So we'll see if that can continue moving forward. But this team right now looks to be a serious contender in that NFC West division. So do the Arizona Cardinals, who are also 2-0 on the year. The Cardinals made light work of the Washington football team, showing great resolve on both offense and defense, curtailing an offense that had some confidence coming into that ball game. You look at a team like the Buffalo Bills and you have to wonder, how far can this team go? When you look at the pieces to what they are putting together, great offensive line play, strong defensive play at all three levels, a quarterback that's improving and playing his best football, the Buffalo Bills are one of the more dangerous teams in the NFL. So are the Seattle Seahawks, who may have the MVP of the season already on their roster in Russell Wilson, who's playing lights out. A big reason why they were able to knock off the New England Patriots last Sunday night. And Green Bay is playing some of the best football you're seeing right now in the NFL. Their offense is firing on all cylinders, both their passing game and their run game. Defensively, they're getting off the field, they're forcing turnovers. Probably one of the more complete teams in the NFC. But right now, at number 2 are the Baltimore Ravens, and they are steamrolling into a huge matchup on Monday night against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Ravens defense looks outstanding offensively. They're still very multiple, they're versatile, and they are explosive. So are the Kansas City Chiefs, who saw themselves down a bit against the Los Angeles Chargers, but they fought back and got themselves into position to win that football game with Harrison Butker, their outstanding kicker, setting up a huge, monumental early season matchup on Monday night versus the Baltimore Ravens. So that's it for this edition of Football Game Plan's Power Rankings. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts, and don't forget to check out and subscribe to the Football Game Plan Network, located at youtube.com/footballgameplan. Also subscribe on iTunes to Football Game Plan Podcast and leave us a 5-star rating.